Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm the OPJellicent, and I'm battling here for week number 4 of WPL season number 8, up against Mike and his York Mews. Definitely a very solid opponent. He actually managed to take down the reigning champion, who defeated me in the playoffs last season, being Dom, so definitely no pushover right here. I really gotta try my best. He's coming into this match with a 2-1 record. I'm currently 3-0, so ideally we can go ahead and continue the streak right here. I definitely think the matchup favors him just a little bit because my Zam responses are not really there, but I do have some cool lures for Zam right here, and let's go ahead and hop right into team preview. So I actually have a really cool kyurem-black this week. It's actually a sub-metronome variant. I'm really anticipating either Kyphagus or Snorlax to be his two responses to that, and basically if I just Dragon Claw multiple times into Snorlax, it can't even curse stall me out, so I can go ahead and just deal with that thing with a Dragon Claw alone, so that can be very good right here. I have a Focus Sash Diggersby, which basically claims a kill or a very hard hit on everything against his team. His best response would be the Kyphagus, and even that doesn't really appreciate Earthquake. I got Low Kick for the Kyurem right here, so I really don't have to care about that at all. And Return doesn't really... It basically just blows away everything else. I don't have Ice Punch for the Gliscor, unfortunately. I got a Torn right here, which is earning a Fightinium Z. Is able to go ahead and OHKO the Kyurem and the Heatran right here. Doesn't really do too much to Snorlax, so I'm not really going to be using it into that right here. I got an Entei right here, which is basically an Assault Vest set. One of my better Kyurem responses. I can go ahead and take 2 Earth Powers, and then it also switches into Heatran quite nicely, unless he's like a physical set with Stone Edge, but I wasn't really anticipating that. Choice Scarf Azolf right here looks really good with Psychic Spam. He doesn't have a single immunity because there's no Dark types, and basically once I have everything in range, I can go ahead and sweep with that. And then finally, an Alakazam lure right here is actually my Pyapa Berry Explosion Weezing, which can go ahead and take a hit because of that berry. It's the Psychic Resist berry, and then I can go ahead and knock it out with Explosion. So I really needed that lure because Alakazam is a giant problem right here. I figured that, as I said, Focus Sash Diggersby kind of just claims a kill on lead right here, so I would go ahead and lead off with that. Hopefully he doesn't lead Gliscor because, as I said, I don't carry Ice Punch on this set, so let's see what happens right here. I lead Diggersby, he leads Gliscor, of course, so basically if he really wants to, he can just get up his rocks right here, but I'm assuming he might switch out fearing like an Ice Punch, of course. I, of course, do not really have a way to hit this. He decides to make the safe play into Kofag. I decide to make an offensive switch into kyurem-black, not really anticipating a Toxic right there, because this basically positions me to where I can sub up on this thing. If he goes for Will-O-Wisp, I don't really care, and I do have some good bulk investment to be able to go ahead and take a Shadow Ball depending on how offensive he is, so he probably will not be able to break my sub. So I'm going to go ahead and hit him up with that sub right here, as he does decide to respond with the Snorlax, so this is exactly what I was talking about. I can go ahead and Dragon Claw with the Metronome, even after that curse you guys are going to see right here. This next Dragon Claw is going to be doing way too much damage. The next one, I believe, does 38% right here. Yeah, 38, and basically that means even if he cursed again right there, arrested, he could not really wall me out because I would just be doing so much damage with the next one. So Metronome kyurem-black knocks that out with 3 Dragon Claws in a row, which is definitely very cool. He decides to go into his Kyurem right here. I don't know if he was just going for a tie or whether he was Choice Scarf. I know he's not Choice Scarf, but I was kind of curious why he did this, because if I want a Speed Tie right here and he's not Sash or the Bondberry, I actually do knock him out, but I guess he was just going for the tie maybe. I'm not risking kyurem-black. I'm going out here into my Assault Vest Entei on the pretty obvious Dragon Pulse right here, and basically I don't really want him subbing up or anything like that, so I decided to go right here for Sacred Fire. Could have Bulldozed predicting the Heatran, but I really can't risk this at all, so I'm just going to continue Sacred Firing right here. I'm going to burn this turn, which is definitely not too big of a deal right here because I would have been able to check this with everything else anyway. Decided to go right here for the Extreme Speed to make sure he's in range of my other attacks. And yeah, basically right there I confirmed that he was not Choice Scarf when he went for the Devastating Drake, so that's obviously he went for sub too, so that's why I was a little bit confused why he just went for the tie right away against Kyurem, but I guess in theory nothing else really comes in right there. If you go Alakazam, you have to risk Focus Blast hitting, which is obviously very scary. But he's able to go ahead and knock me out. This Kyurem's basically out of the game now. I'm just going to go ahead and bring in my Azolf right here. Hit him up with that U-turn and get rid of this Kyurem. So that's very helpful. Can bring out my Weezing right here because I know for a fact he's going to go ahead and try to get in that Alakazam. And I really want this thing gone right here. So that's exactly what happens. I can go ahead and take this Psychic right here and go ahead and knock him out the Explosion. However, you guys see right here, he actually reveals Barrier, and this is basically about to 6-0 me depending on how much Diggersby does. I am adamant Diggersby because I am Focus Sash, so I don't really have anything to fear right here. Thankfully Diggersby is kind of a beast right here, and basically makes it so he can't really stall me out. Now here's the interesting thing. Had he gone for a second barrier right there, I'm pretty sure he could have just recovered up and combined it up after that and 6-0'd the rest of my team right here. Interestingly, he decided to go for a cover, I guess maybe in case I was... Well, Choice Scarf Diggersby doesn't even have speed, so... Yeah, I was a little bit perplexed about that. Had he barriered right there and then started to spam recover, I'm pretty sure he might have just won, but thankfully, because he didn't do that, I can go ahead and just hurt him right here. He's going to go ahead and attack me this turn, as I can go ahead and click return again, seeing that he cannot stall me out, and I can just go ahead and pick him off with the quick attack right here. So we get rid of that giant threat. That was so scary, as he's going to go ahead and bring out Gliscor now. I guess he kind of confirmed that I didn't have Ice Punch based on my turn 1 play of switching out my Diggersby right here, so that return still does a lot of damage, but unfortunately I really can't stand right here, because I want to keep Diggersby. I decided to second off anyway because it really kind of gets outsped by the other two. Doesn't hit Kofag very hard, and because I'm adamant, I was kind of anticipating a faster Heatran right here, so I decided to let it go down and then bring out my kyurem-black right here. He shouldn't be max speed because Gliscor runs max speed right here. I go for the Dragon Claw because I know I can take a Facade, and basically, this next turn, my next Dragon Claw is Metronome boosted, but you guys are going to see right here, despite my 1.2 boost, this Kofag just eats it up. It really did not care at all. This next turn, I have to pivot out, so I go Torn right here. I don't have Hurricane, I have Air Slash, but that'll be able to do the job. Unfortunately for my opponent, I actually got a flinch right here, which basically, it would have lowered differential. I probably would have only won 1-0 right here, but because of that flinch, I basically just go ahead and knock him out right here, and then obviously, this thing is going to come in right here. I have the Fightinium Z on deck, so I can go ahead and knock this Heatran out. And then because I got the Dragon Claw damage on Gliscor, Air Slash will be able to knock that out too right here. So definitely the flinch on Kofag really sucked, because what I would have had to do instead was sack off both my other Pokemon just to get it in range of Air Slash. I would have won anyway, because as you guys saw right there, I did sweep with my Torn. Unless he would have like gone Heatran then switched it out into Gliscor expecting the Fightinium Z, he would have had to make a play like that, but essentially right here, Torn would have been able to pull through anyway. I would have had to sack both my other Pokemon just to get that Kofag in range, but it would have definitely been possible. GG to Mike though, we were able to go ahead and pick up a pretty nice 3-0 win right there. We move on to 4-0. Next week I battled Nacho Everyday Trainer and his Detroit Terravolt. So we battled last season. We managed to win 2-0 that time, I think, so ideally we can go ahead and beat him too. Be sure to go ahead and check out my opponent as well as all the other coaches down below in the description, and I'll see you all next week. Later.